Oddly enough, I'm not going to recommend much by way of fiction, except that my first recommendation is fiction. It's called Amulet. It's a graphic novel by Kazu Kibuishi.
Okay.
Kibuishi? Yes, Kibuishi is how you pronounce his name. It's a
All right.
story of, it's like, it feels more like an intensely personal project than a comic that you would often find in from one of the bigger studios. It's a story
Okay.
of two kids who find a mysterious gate and they
Hmm.
enter it and go into a mysterious world. And I don't want to spoil the story for you, so I will not. And
Okay.
I'm also kind of saying it because I read it a long time ago and I'm not sure what I read. So it's not like I'm intentionally saving the sanctity of the book. I'm also hiding the fact
Sure.
that I don't remember it completely.
That's
But
fine.
The Amulet is one book. This is
Okay.
part one of it. There are other parts also, but this
Yeah.
is something I definitely recommend to. It's by Scholastic. I recommend it for younger readers.
Do you know how
The
many books there are?
I think there are three, but I
Okay.
couldn't.
Okay, so in terms of what I'm reading, so I don't really follow like a fixed reading schedule or anything like that, right? It's just I have like like moods of the moment kind of thing.
Correct.
So I get interested by a certain genre or a certain
Huh.
character at some point in time, and I just pick it up and read.
Correct.
So right now there's a lot of Daniel Warren Johnson stuff that I'm referring to
Okay.
because the guy is a writer and an artist,
Okay.
and his storytelling is like basically out of the world. I mean, is he's got a very signature style, and
Okay.
somehow compared to the rest of the, I won't say the rest of the Western world, but
Huh.
compared to the usual Western aesthetics, right?
Correct.
He's sort of nailed the emotional part of storytelling in the
Okay.
sense that like as an Indian, right, we like that slight masala ness, right?
Correct.
uh, so he has that, and you don't see a lot of that in Western comics.
Correct. Correct.
um, so like just to as a spoiler, sorry for the people who are watching, but it's not a spoiler really, but still, there's this book called Do a Power Bomb.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about professional wrestling in the sense like WWE style
Correct.
wrestling,
Correct.
right, with a little bit of fantasy thrown in.
You're right.
Just one moment from that I want to call out, right?
Correct.
So okay, the premise of the story is that there is an aspiring wrestler, this girl, young girl, right, who's lost her mother, who used to be a professional wrestler. She had an accident in the wrestling ring and she died, right? And now she's grown up with her father, who basically does not want her to get into the wrestling business at all. But one day she meets like a wizard or a warlock or something like that, who invites her to this strange realm where she has to compete in matches, and that will bring her mother back from the dead. That's the story. Okay. So what happens is, right at the end of the first or second issue or something, they this is the scene. Okay, the scene is the girl has now met this wizard. Right, wizard has told her, meet me at this place, and I will do.
Hmm.
We'll make the deal that I'll get your mother back or whatever. The father calls her. Okay, and
Huh.
the same old conversation. I'm worried about you. Blah 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 blah. And then the girl says, she says something like sorry to her dad,
Huh.
and she just says there's something I need to do, right? And she keeps the phone.
Okay.
Okay. So the scene they show from the father's end, the phone disconnects. Okay. He keeps the phone down, right?
Huh.
And then they zoom out. Okay.
Huh.
And they show that his father, the girl's father, is standing in front of a table, right?
Huh.
Where there's a wrestling costume laid out on the table.
Correct.
And this is the wrestling costume worn by the same guy
Huh.
who had killed her accidentally, killed her
Correct.
mother in the ring.
Correct.
Okay. So I like, oh shit, like like my hair was standing like this. There's such a, it's not just a twist, it's not just a twist, it's the
Correct.
fact that now the guy she hates the most is her
Of
own father, and she doesn't know it, right?
right. Right.
So things like that, right? I think
Right.
that emotional hook this guy has nailed very very strongly, right? Murder Falcon is another book of his that I'd like to recommend.
Acha. It's by the same writer.
Same writer. Also, he has this thing about taking kids, right, like teenagers basically,
Huh.
and
Huh.
putting them into these really traumatic situations.
Correct.
if do a power bomb is about losing a parent,
Right.
the other one is about dealing with like cancer and stuff like that, right? But in a
Okay.
very fantastical sort of manner.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
I have one more of his books, which is Dead Earth, Wonder Woman Dead Earth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I haven't read it though. Plan to do that very soon.
Okay.
So yeah, Daniel Warren Johnson is one.
Here is my recommendation. The
Ah,
first recommendation, The Deviant
correct.
by James the Fourth, the art by Joshua. I
Okay.
like the book because I like reading slasher horror books.
Correct.
So it's
Correct.
my favorite genre. So
Okay.
the story is about a crazy psychopath in a Santa Claus costume killing people in 1972. So in the present time, there is a comic book writer. His name is
Ah,
Michael, and
okay.
he's in search of a story basically, and
Correct.
he finds a story in the shape of guy named Randall, a man who is convicted for those murders in 1972,
Correct.
and
Correct.
now he's in prison for the last 50 years.
Correct.
Randall says he's innocent and he didn't kill anyone, uh,
Correct.
and and but the Christmas approaches in the current time, and the murder starts happening again in the same way. Um,
Ha.
so the
Correct.
book is quite gory and violent, and if you like this kind of genre, you should give it a try.
Correct.
I've heard that this book is nominated for Eisner award. अभी पता नहीं है कि वो awards हो गए हैं कब होंगे, but it's still
Correct.
in the race.
Is there a like a number of recommendations I can make?
You can recommend as many as you
Any?
want.
Okay.
Ah,
Another random one. Okay, so these are all, I would say, guilty pleasures, right?
okay.
Um, I won't really say this is like top-notch storytelling or something, but it really made me excited.
Ha.
And I own a copy of these, right, which are not very easy to get.
Okay.
It's a Batman Elseworlds series
Oh.
called Batman. The first issue is called Batman Dracula. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Second one is called Red Rain, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the third one is called Bloodstorm. Yeah, I think it's called Bloodstorm.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe I'm getting the names mixed up. Maybe first one is called Red Rain. I don't
Correct.
remember exactly.
Correct. Correct.
But essentially, it's a story about, in the first book, Batman
Ha.
encounters Dracula, right?
Correct.
But by the end, and this is a whole battle and all of that. But by
Correct.
the end of it, Batman transforms into a vampire.
Correct.
Okay, but
Correct.
Alfred must do
Ha.
the right thing and
Ha.
stake Batman through the heart and
Correct.
close him up in a coffin forever. Okay.
Correct. Correct.
Second issue, when Gotham goes through hell, Alfred must release Batman from the coffin, but
Yeah.
Batman comes back as a literal like Batman. He's a
Vampire. Yeah.
vampire, right?
Correct. Correct.
And Bloodstorm, I don't have too much of the recollection of,
Correct.
but essentially by that point, Batman is not Batman anymore. He's just a literal
Correct.
like a skeleton with wings kind of thing, right?
Right. Right.
But that it's like it has that very like beyond like a Tim Burton dial to 11
Correct. Correct.
style quirkiness and horror in a Batman universe that we're not used to seeing.
Correct. Correct.
So yeah, so I own a copy of I recently like bought those. So
Ah,
prize possessions, not giving those away. Uh,
nice.
The next one I want to recommend is the Zen Pencils anthology. There
Yeah.
were two of them. This is one
Yeah.
of them. The other one I also have. But these are great inspirational comics for people of all ages.
Right.
The author basically takes a quote. The author
Hmm.
is Gavin Ongthan, and
Okay.
the author, what he does is that he takes inspirational quotations or poems and he turns them into a web comic. You can find all the web comics on his website of Zen Pencils, but this is the printed anthology.
Okay.
I am really proud to wait. Where is it? I think I got an autograph from him somewhere. Where is it? I have an autographed copy. There's his signature, and
To Vijendra.
uh,
he wrote my name also. So I'm really proud of this.
Nice.
Uh, this is my second recommendation.
oh,
Okay.
So
okay. One more. So this is something that it's right here. In fact, uh, this is the
Oh.
combined edition. It's
Okay.
three books actually. So there is Superman Quest for Peace is the first one.
Okay.
This is the
Ah.
Alex Ross painted ones,
Right.
right?
Right.
So it's actually four books. So there's Superman, there's Batman, Shazam, Wonder Woman, and Justice League.
Okay.
all Alex Ross painted stuff, right? So this has is one of the earliest comics that I read at a point where I started studying comics, not reading it for entertainment.
Right. Right.
So a lot of the panels here and all, I've been like super influenced by. Like when I started off, I was drawing. So even
Correct.
from an art perspective, I was super like proper influenced by. In fact, some of these panels you might actually find in some of my own books. Like I've literally used
Right.
the reference. Like there's some really even especially a Superman one,
Huh.
like some super iconic images.
Huh.
Like especially this, I want to show this one thing, the one where he's sitting in front of a, like it's like a world very tired kind of Superman,
Huh.
just sitting in front of the chair. You see, in terms of storytelling, right, this is very much not like a traditional comic, because
Correct.
if you
Correct.
look at it, there's no word balloons or anything. It's
Right.
just like this kind of text.
Correct.
But purely through images, he's sort of conveying very strong or heavy kind of topics
Right. Right.
that the heroes literally sort of stand for,
Huh.
right?
Huh.
So again, lot to learn.
So my second recommendation is once again the absolute Batman.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah, for the Batman fans, I would say you should read the book. You should not miss it. Uh,
Correct.
so in the book, the Bruce Wayne is just an ordinary man. He doesn't have his wealth, and he certainly doesn't have the bad family. Instead,
Correct.
this is the Bruce Wayne who struggles to get by. Born
So
to a working class.
this
Sorry.
is like an Elseworld story.
It's a Elseworld story, yes. So
Correct.
Bruce is born to a working class family. He makes
Correct.
living. He's working as a city engineer. His father was a teacher in this book. He's
Okay.
not wealthy. His mother is a social worker. This
Correct.
time, the story about Thomas and Martha Wayne is pretty much different. Like they were not murdered by the random violence in the dark alley, in the Frank Miller run we've
Correct.
seen in
Correct.
the past.
Right.
Bruce's mother is still alive. His
Oh.
father was killed. His
Okay.
father was killed, and I think, and I read three issues. So it
Okay.
seems the father was killed. Maybe there's a
Huh.
twist. I don't know. Maybe he comes back. Um,
Correct.
Gotham is still a hellhole, like always.
Correct.
And the Batman is more brutal and darker. Um,
Okay.
Alfred Pennyworth, he's a narrator in the book, and he's
Acha.
completely in a different avatar, and he's totally badass. Uh,
Okay.
the best thing the book about is, and the other thing I like Batman is his like Hulk-like stature. My God,
Huh.
he
Huge.
looks he's looked like a Hulk in a bat suit.
Correct.
So yeah, if you like reading Batman books, so you should give it a
Huh.
shot. It's a uh, Scott Snyder. If you, I think Batman readers they must have read Scott Snyder's run in 2011. The
Older.
Court of Owl and stuff. But this
Correct.
is a completely different take. And
Okay.
Nick Ricotta's art is amazing. It's like
Correct.
he's killing it.
One more, last one, maybe. Actually, I can go on, but The Crow by James O'Barr.
Correct.
So The Crow is basically an example of how an artist can channel grief,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
So the James O'Barr basically created that book after his girlfriend was killed in a hit and run accident.
Correct.
So
Correct.
he went into depression and he sort of channeled all of that into this book. So the character of Eric Draven in this is sort of meant to be like him.
Huh.
He's taking revenge on behalf of his girlfriend's
Correct.
killers and all of that, right?
Right.
So that's like the again like a very indie sensibilities that now have become mainstream, right?
Correct. Correct.
Like it's a again that superhero and noir mixed
Yeah.
together.
Correct.
Gothic superhero and noir mixed together is not something you see very frequently. I mean, now Batman obviously tries to do a lot of that uh,
Correct.
to some extent. But this one, it's just like chef's kiss, right? Like
Yeah.
um, it's an experience. Like you have to go through, and it's not like all of the panels sort of make sense. It's
Correct.
not literal storytelling. There's a lot of stream of consciousness kind of stuff
Huh.
going on, right? Again, it's an experience. It's like it's very visceral as you go through it.
Right. Right.
Okay, my third recommendation is
Huh.
this book, Criminal. by Edgar
Correct.
Becker. He's my one of my favorite
Right.
writer after Ashwin Kanmane. So so it's a crime noir.
Right.
It has like 5 or 6 volumes. I don't remember. I read it like quite long, maybe
Huh.
last couple of years ago.
Correct.
So it's about the guy named Leo. The guy
Correct.
is a pickpocket since he was 5 or 6. I don't remember 5, 6, or 8 years old.
Right.
Basically, Leo is a coward. The crime he commits are like it's a low risk crime, but
Right.
there are also low rewards. He's
Right.
scared because he's some if something goes wrong, he'll
Right.
end up in the prison like his dad.
You're right.
And
Right.
and then there is a heist story, and it doesn't go as planned, like
Correct.
in all
Correct.
heist movies. Now
Right.
Leo must go into hiding, and situation escalates, forcing the thief to put his skill to the test. So
Okay.
yeah, if you like reading crime noir,
Right.
you should try this book.
Okay.
Highly recommended. The third one.
The last recommendation is
Nice.
something that's a bit of a uh, it's a non-fiction project. It's by Scott McCloud. You guys may have heard of his comic book called Making Comics, but
Yeah.
this one is called Reinventing Comics. And
Oh,
I think it was a book that was ahead of its time, because some of the things that he actually recommended in this book
correct.
did not come to pass back then, and he himself accepted that maybe I was wrong.
Okay.
But some of those things have actually started happening now, which is very
Okay.
intriguing. In fact, I tweeted the author on Twitter once
Uh,
upon a time and said, hey, this thing that you had said, he was talking about micro payments.
ha,
Like,
ha, ha.
people would be able to put out a comic and charge a very small amount for each chapter, and
Correct.
the internet
People
then
would go.
opens up that avenue of income for comic book creators. And
Correct.
it didn't happen because micro payments did not work. But
Correct.
micro payments in any case work better in India than they work in America.
Okay.
So when Google Pay and all came out, I said, "Hey,
Mm.
have you reconsidered this thing? Have you tried to write something more about this?" And he said, "I really haven't thought about it since then. I will, and when I do, I will write something." But
Correct.
I think this book is quite. It was quite forward thinking
Okay.
for the time that it was written in, and
Okay.
I'm happy to see that at least in some respects the internet still manages to make me hopeful sometimes, which is strange, because for the most part it has been a massive disappointment, at least over the last decade.
Nice. Nice.